The Bethlehem Central School District is a pretty traditional suburban school district. It's a community that really cares about its educational quality. It's a community that's very involved in its schools. And I think there's a high expectation in the community that this school provide a good, safe, stable environment for their children to learn. But now with cell phones and computers and smartwatches and all of the social media that exists, it's really hard to get students to be centered in the moment and focused. The former cell phone policy that we had at Bethlehem, I said, was one that was adequate but not highly effective. The former policy was that students would enter into the classroom, they would report to a corner of the room where we had phone sleeves, we called them, and the students would put their phones in the sleeves. It limited the number of cell phone distractions during instructional time, but there was the day-to-day constant communication to the students. Okay, you don't have your phone in there, get up, put your phone in there. The new policy that went into effect in September of 2023 is pretty much a cell phone ban. Cell phones are restricted at all times during the instructional time during the day. So from the time they enter the building until instruction is over, the students do not have access to their phones. We currently use a phone pouch system where when the students enter the building, they put their phones in a pouch. There's a magnetic device that locks their phones in the pouches until the end of the instructional day. Here is one of the areas where you notice the change with the policy, and it's an area where the students get to spend their free time. I see kids playing cards in that area now. I see kids, drawing in that area now, and things that they weren't doing before. I think the biggest difference is now they're socializing in that area because they don't have access to their phones. Where when we used to walk through the hallway in the past, the students would be head down on their phone, maybe occasionally making a comment to each other. To be honest, for full disclosure, I had my doubts about the policy at first. I was concerned about the enforcement of the policy. I was concerned about the students losing the ability to kind of learn on their own how to monitor their cell phone use. And I was one of the opponents of the policy early on. After a year of the more restrictive policy, I'm happy to report I was wrong with my opposition. And the students, they weren't missing anything because everyone else was off their devices too. They started to relax significantly. That fear of missing out was a really big concern they had until they realized it wasn't a legitimate concern, because the people they would have been texting, the people they would have been sending messages or snaps or making TikToks with, they couldn't access their phones either. I think we took the right approach.